Good morning. It's about 11:30 or 12 o'clock on Sunday, the 16th of June. Some of you may remember that I was very enthusiastic and I put in some pallet gardens along this edge here. Problem with my garden is it's all shade, and this is the only area where I can catch some sun. So I will never do pallet gardens again, and now I'm busy doing an alternative. I'm going to build a frame along this edge here with shelves to put pots on, and I can change them about. So the first step was to move all of those very heavy pots across to the other side there, which foolishly at the age of 72 did some things to my back which I'm not sure about. Anyway, they've been moved over. And now what I'm doing is I'm excavating along this edge here and taking the soil away temporarily so that I can plant some poles along this edge and then put the shelves along there. So follow along with me. So the idea, the sort of design is to have these 6 poles, vertical permapine poles, buried into the raised bed, which is this black here, and then have one row of plants on bricks on the soil, and then 2 shelves made of mesh for pots and various things to sit on there. So that's the plan at the moment. And this is the mesh that some of it bought and some of it left over from a previous project. So that'll be the mesh shelving. And here's the timber that I bought for the job, stored there out of the rain, because it's going to rain tonight. And you saw how much that slot that I've opened up there to get access to the ground so that I can put the poles in. And there's the soil which I've excavated from that slot. And it's small wonder that my back's aching because I've been overdoing it. Well, I'm doing the trellis, not the trellis, the stand against the side of the bed for pots to catch the sun. And now this is workshop, because it's going to rain. I'm in my workshop, and what I've done is I need to have the horizontal bars. These are the vertical poles, and I need to cut a slot out of them so that the bars can fit into that slot there. But I need them all to be lined up so that the bars that go across are horizontal. So as you can see here, this section here at the bottom is inside the bed, and then here's the first bar quite low, and then there's one of these to carry these angles, to carry the ledges, the mesh ledges I'm making. They'll sit on here like this. And so once I've prepared all of those, what I'll need to do then is to cut the slots out and chisel them out. It's going to be quite a job. So there's six of them. There's one standing over there. So that's 6 times 3 is 18 bits of chiseling and sawing. So that's the next step I've done for the day. I'll come back to it tomorrow. Okay, so number one slot finished, and another 17 to go. Not too difficult. Here's my test piece. It fits in there well. So those will be the beams down there, which will go right across all 6 of them. So here we go. It's the advantage of having clamps. I can't emphasize how useful clamps are for holding things like this steady while you work on them. So I'll just work my way down and do these other 2, and then next, and so forth. So just a word about taking these out. I've got my test piece, as I showed you, to show that that's going to fit in. It's quite loose, this one. So just a word about this. You know, what you want to do is you want to saw several cuts so that these pieces can be chiseled out relatively easily. And this one I've gone halfway just to show you. And the one trap which I learned when I was in school making joints was don't try and chop these out from this side, but then start working from that side there and chip back this way. Otherwise, if you are too enthusiastic and you chip these, it will break down further lower down there, and you'll have a very ugly joint. So just a little hint. And then cleaning it up, and this one's a bit gouged there, but cleaning this surface up is done with the chisel, and then also later on with a nice rough file just to make it relatively smooth, so that your cross beam can be bolted into place there to support the structure. So that's a little hint for you. Okay, it's the 19th of June, and I prepared the supports for the screen at the back of the garden, and you can see I've got the slots matching, and I've treated the wood that's going to be buried, and I've retreated the slots where I've cut into the preserved wood. And so I just started setting it up, and you can see what I've done is I've got these cross beams, and I've clamped them into the slots to get the poles in the right orientation before I fix the poles against the sleepers at the bottom and make sure they're vertical. And then that'll be the main part of the construction done, and then next comes the shelving. There we are, it's the 19th still, and the horizontal beams are in, and something rather pleasing about a regular row of poles like this, you know, sort of. And you can see that this is midwinter and the sun falls on this surface here, so that's what I'm after. I'm after something where it gets some winter sun. So there it is. So the next step now is to put in the shelves, which go here. But you can see the hole, which I've been walking in and getting mud on my boots all the time, now can be filled in, and the ends of those poles are treated to some extent. Okay, here we are, the next step in the vertical garden. You can see that I've got some supports there for the grids. I'm working on that, but the major job has been sealing it with protectant to protect it from the sun and the rain. So it's gone orange, and you can, if you see little green patches, they are wherever you breach the protectant that comes with the perma-pine. You have to spray it with a similar protectant. So that's the 20th of June. It's the 21st of June, winter solstice. All the children playing on the oval, and I've got all the brackets up. It's all sealed with wood protectant, and all the brackets are up. And the most pleasing thing is, of course, the top level. Look at that full levelness. So that's pretty wonderful in terms of all of that, getting it all very level. So I'm proud of myself there. See you next time. Okay, Saturday morning, the 22nd of June, and the metal grid shelves are on now, and I just thought I'd show you something interesting quickly. Can you see I've chopped into this bed, this soil, and you can see the roots of the Tecoma, and that's my problem. I can't grow anything in the soil because the roots of this Tecoma here have come under the soil and up into all of these beds. So all I can do now is grow on top of the ground in pots. Next step, move all of the pots onto here. Oh, there it is, all finished. It's the 23rd of June, Sunday, and I've moved all of my pots that I've been putting into the sun for summertime. I've moved them all onto here where they can catch even more sun. And you might notice the little solar lights on there makes it into a bit of a Christmas tree. So I'm very pleased with the project, and if you can see the little sculpture's also got a lick of protectant from the rain and the sun.
I remember the smoke from fire in the dark, when autumn leaves are falling and your heart began to harden on the bench beside the oak.